501. Yes. Our next adventure build number 7. Oh God, it's too light, 108 kilos. Woo-hoo. All right, let's get this baby going. Welcome to Motorcycle Adventure Dirt Bike TV. My name's Dave Darcy and I'm proud to say this is my 7th bike build. I guess you're all wondering why I picked the 501 for an adventure build. Firstly, the bike itself has a reputation for reliability and being amazingly versatile in what it can do. There's a guy called Aaron Steinman, he's rode the thing around the world, miles and miles he did on it, trouble-free, brilliant ride, and I guess he was one of the main instigators. Yeah, there may be a few of you that say, well, hang on a minute, Aaron Steinman did that on a KTM 500, and that's absolutely correct. But the thing between the KTM 500 and the Husky 501, there's very little difference between the engines, if anything. So I'm going to give myself a bit of license there. If the KTM 500 can do it, the Husky 501 can as well. So there's my motivation from Aaron. The next thing with the bike is that it's light. It's 108 kilograms. If you get a twin, I want you to think about potatoes. This is a 4 kilogram packet of potatoes, right? And when you buy a twin, even if it's at 190 kilograms, and they're much heavier than that, you're looking at between 20 and 25 bags, 4 kilogram bags of potatoes on top of what you see here. So lightness, as I'm getting older, that's another thing that's really important to me. The final thing is, what are your mates riding? And I've got to say, I've got a bit of envy. Nugget's got a 500, Mark's built a 500, it just has to be done. And the final thing is, I'm a bit competitive and I want to make a better build than them. So what's my approach to this bike build? Well, the first thing is, I think a bit of humility is important. Yes, I've been riding bikes for over 40 years, but I want to listen to the experts. And there's a couple of people I particularly respect. And they are Clive Ward, we call the Professor, and another guy called Chris Watson, who actually sold me the bike. So those two people, but there'll be a lot more. The other thing I'm going to do is refer to my friends and see what they're doing with their 500s, and hopefully we'll get a build. Now, in terms of the video, yeah, we're going to go into detail at times into terms of the whys and the hows and the whens in terms of what we do with this bike. And you might think it's strange, but the whens are just as important as the whys. And I'll give you an example. The first thing I want to do for this bike is put a tower on it. Now, generally I'm anti-tower, but there's this tower from Adventure Men Cave that I really like, and I think it offers me what I want. I want a great platform where I can have my navigation, but more importantly, I want good lighting for when you're riding late in the afternoons and in the evenings and you want to be spotting those kangaroos before they spot you. The other thing is I'm putting on a 17-litre tank onto this bike, an IMS tank. And that fits perfectly under the shrouds, and it looks Mickey Mouse. But most importantly, it answers that age-old question as well, how much fuel range do you have? Because once you've got that, Nugget assures me that I'll have just under 400 kilometres if I'm light on the juice. So those two factors alone, and coming back to the when, those two factors alone are really important because they move the centre of gravity of the bike forward. So Clive Ward says to me, don't come and talk to me about suspension until you've got the bike basically built the way you want. So we know where the centre of gravity is, so we can work out how strong to put the springs in the forks and what to do in the rear of the bike. The other thing is, I want this bike comfortable. The tower does one part of that in terms of breaking the wind away from me, but I also need a more comfortable seat. This seat's good, don't get me wrong, but sitting on this all day, you know, you get to about hour 6 and this is like a 4x2. And I've reached out to Seat Concepts for this bike. So we've decided to buy a bike, and the next thing you've got to decide is who you're going to get it from. And in the last couple of years, I've had a lot to do with Chris Watson. He's a multiple Australian champion of motorcycling, just world-renowned. And I first met Chris a few years ago when we were in a couple of rides together, and the first thing that struck me, the bloke can ride. He's a beautiful rider to watch. He can wheel stand anywhere you want, but he rides fantastically. But he's also around my age, and he's got a truckload of knowledge about bikes. So that was one reason. The other thing is he sells bikes at Cessnock. And you might be thinking, oh, you're giving him a plug. Well, for me to drive from Sydney to Cessnock, I think says oodles about what I think about Chris Watson. All right. Pretty excited today, picking up the 501. Hey, Chris, how you going?
Morning, David.
Hey, mate, how are you? Good to see you.
Welcome up.
Yeah. Have a go at these. Huskies everywhere.
Yeah, well, 23 model. Good things.
Yeah. All right, let's go and have a look at this 501.
No problem. You baby out the back for you.
Yeah, mate.
Your project machine. We've got it out of the workshop. We put it out of the box and how they come. So your project starts from ground zero.
Yeah.
And build from there.
Yeah, mate, it's going to be an exciting build.
They're great things, and that's what people want to do now. The venture is exploring and having a bit of fun, and something a bit more extreme. That's people are sick of going on bitumen.
Yeah. Yeah, you've seen that though, haven't you? You've seen a lot of older blokes picking up adventure bikes now, haven't you?
Well, adventure bikes started 10, 15 years ago, sort of thing, and what happened, they thought bigger is better, but I think it's not anymore. It's light, mobile, fun, and something you can never excite you. So
mate, that excites me.
So this is a 23 model Heritage FE501.
Yeah.
Mate, they're a great bike. They're perfect, long range, low maintenance, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, mate.
So this is a Heritage model.
Looks
this
so
is
smick,
this is
doesn't
the
it?
new colours, going back to the early 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to get your advice on how we build this, and your advice combined with Clive Ward's knowledge. That's a truckload of knowledge, I'd suggest.
Well, Clive's very good. He does a lot of work with venture bikes and tours, so he's a good mechanic as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, like there's you haven't got to do a lot to make this bike what you want.
Yeah.
Obviously, fuel range is the most important thing for most people.
Yeah.
So we put a 13 litre or so tank on it.
Yeah.
Get your bum comfortable on a seat.
Yeah.
I do recommend a Cush drive rear wheel.
Yeah.
Just take the load off the gearbox and make it smoother.
Yeah.
And some bark busters and a bit of protection, and you're there. Right.
Yeah, for this one, Chris, I've gone against my normal intuition. And
You're going to put a tower on, aren't you?
It's a simple tower. It's an adventure Men Cave Tower. But it'll be interesting because I don't like that weight on the front.
Yeah, I don't normally like the top weight.
Yeah.
And I'm too busy looking forward, let that down.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, so with our Husky 701s, you and I have the same setup, don't we? Just that little
screen.
OEM screen.
I think if you're going to put a bit of weight on, I would probably recommend a spring higher setting, as in the weight spring.
Yeah.
Only because you've got the bigger tank, fuel, a bit of a tower.
Yeah.
And you're generally going to have something on your back or the bike. Probably spring rating might need to be upped a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're only probably 75 kilos, Dave, aren't you? Plus Gs2, of course.
Plus Gs2. Yeah, that's right.
But probably spring rating might need a quick ride. They'll take all the bottoming out and get you the suspension at the right ride height, which is really important.
Yeah. And what do you think about a bash plate, Ron? Just
they're not bad.
It's got big ground clearance, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's got good. Another thing is that with the plastic one, it doesn't drum the noise back up to you. Like they're pretty strong.
Yeah.
And I only run the standard plastic ones on my enduro bike.
Yeah.
Never have any problems.
Yeah.
And they don't get that reflex of noise bouncing back at you. I like the motors falling out of them.
Yeah.
So and honestly, the radiator guards are pretty good standard. They're braced back to the frame.
Right.
So, and they've got good airflow.
Yeah.
As soon as you put a radiator guard in there, you're restricting the flow of air, and they're pretty solid.
Yeah.
Dave's going to have a big crash if you're going to need one of those.
Yeah, it's going to be a big get off.
Yeah, so we don't run them.
So Chris, this is what I'm chasing is no weight. There's little weight. I mean, when I grab that handlebar on this bike now, that is, what That'd be less than 110 kilos,
That
wouldn't it?
is, yeah. And even when what you're doing
Yeah.
to it finished up, it's probably only going to be 120.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like, and that's 40 kilos lighter than your opposition of any bike
Yes.
that you're going to ride. Now,
Yeah.
you put 40 kilos on your back and see how you feel at the end of the
Yeah.
day. And
Yeah.
it's no fun. Going down a hill, the lighter is better.
Yeah.
Like when you're starting, where's that track go? Let's go and find out.
Yeah.
On the bigger bikes, they're going, no, I can't go down. This
Yeah.
thing, let's go and try it.
Yeah.
If you go down, you always get up on one of these.
It's interesting, you know. I love my 701, and I know you like yours too. And it's funny, both of ours are set up very, very similarly. Really light, just functional stuff. But this, I've always had an itch to do the 501.
I call them the rally bike,
Yeah, yeah,
the adventure rally, because you can do both. They say dual sport, this is a triple sport. You can do, but I'm going to do a bit of enduro. Where the track goes, the single line, you can do of these.
yeah, yeah.
You gear them up on the road, they're beautiful. And on the open dirt roads, they're perfect. So, mate, this is what people are elevating to, because they can do more.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I mean, you were the one who coined the term Adventure Explorer for the 701. So what are you calling these?
The rally.
Adventure Rally.
Bit more. You can do everything.
Do everything. Well, mate, you've got one. You've got one in the back that's just crossed Australia, haven't you?
Yeah, mate of mine, Andrew, we built it up for him. It's just
Yeah.
simple, not too much on it, but he done 4,000 Ks on it and he loved it. And surprisingly, he was one of the few who made it across, and when bigger bikes couldn't make it across. So he
Yeah.
loves it. We just got its first service probably, and check over at 4,500 Ks.
Yeah. Let's go and have a look at it anyway.
Yeah.
But this, mate, I've fallen in love with it already. Love the colours.
Yeah, cool. They do look great.
So, servicing on these, service intervals?
Probably 1,000 Ks on adventure riding.
Yeah.
You get away with.
Yeah.
Like enduro riding is probably 500,
Yeah.
enduro 1,000. You can put a wider, more volume clutch cover, which will give you a bit more oil and
Yeah.
that'll give you a bit more time between servicing.
Yeah. So I'll talk to Clive about that.
Yeah.
I think, knowing him, he'll have something. He'll be saying more oil, more oil.
Well, more oil is less changing, so
Yeah.
it doesn't break down, not getting too hot, and
Yeah.
your oil's the life of the engine.
Yeah. So
No different to your blood.
So I swear that I'm going to keep this light, and look forward to coming back and you going for a ride on it in terms of setup and getting some more feedback. Yeah, so it's going to be a good project.
We've got one that we're going to do as well, so we might do a project off.
Oh, right,
So we've got a new demo from Husqvarna that we're going to turn into a rally.
right.
So we'll do one to see how they go differently.
Oh, that'd be great. Oh, mate.
You right?
Yeah.
Okay, Andrew has done 4,500 Ks on this 501 rally.
Yeah.
We're just here for maybe just a maintenance check over and greasing. Nothing wrong with the bike.
Yeah.
Andrew hasn't cleaned the air filter very often, but that's what it's here for, I suppose.
Yeah.
But the bike is going perfectly. It's just he wants to do another 5,000 Ks and in trouble. So we'll grease, replace some bearings, and away we go again.
Yeah.
But he's got the tank. He got the service tank on it. Yeah. He's got no tower.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got the screen, the deflective screen, that takes the weight off your chest a lot.
Yeah.
Bark busters.
Yeah.
And he has got a rack, because
Yeah, that's interesting. That's the
it's not a
first
bad
one
rack
I've
actually.
seen.
Yeah, it's not a bad one.
I wonder if it's homemade. It seems doesn't look homemade,
Yeah.
does it? I have no idea what that rack is.
No, I'd say he's purchased.
Yeah.
The rack is pretty well fitted and pretty strong. Yeah, 5-10 kilos, that's not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he loves it. He's been out of riding for a long time and come back in, and he's really having fun.
I like his graphics.
Yeah, actually he owns a company, a haulage company.
Right.
Maddox Haulage. Give him a plug.
So what he's done, he's just put it clear over the top, and
Yeah,
it's
just
just got that.
protective coating. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a mate of mine from years and years ago, and then get back into riding from racing years ago.
Yeah.
But he rides well, and he's enjoying his riding.
Oh, that's good, mate.
But I think this is the way of the future. People want to do more.
Yeah. So the plan is, I'll go out and do some dirt riding on it, just get a feel for the bike. I haven't ridden a single 500 for a gazillion years. So get my head around it, and then we'll start the process of building. Once we've built it, we'll come back and see you, get you to ride it.
We'll organise the ride.
Yeah, and we'll have a ride. And I don't know, maybe by that time you've got yours done.
We'll have ours done, and I have another friend who is a same profession years ago. Dave's got a 500 KDM.
Right.
And he set it up similar.
Yeah.
So we'll have a
singles fest.
yeah.
All right.
A rally fest.
A singles rally fest.
It's not a necessity, but it will take if you go long term, I reckon you need it just for the gearbox load.
Yeah. All right.
So it's a Cush drive. It's that's a
Looks
501. 501 one. There is a different one for 701.
Yes. Can't wait to do this one. Well, she's on the trailer, mate. Ready to go?
Good to go.
Rock and roll.
Well, we'll show you a couple of small things we need to look at.
Yeah.
When we're starting it,
Yeah.
the mapping and traction control will set. Once you set it, it will always be in that mode. You have to change it to go back to something different. So, mapping switch 1, which is slightly less power.
Yeah.
And the power curve less aggressive. So map 2 is full power. Traction control off. Traction control on. So it's not aggressive traction control. What it is something that turn it off. Yeah. Something that takes deflection off. Example, when young Chucky, who can steer him pretty well, was showing me on a launch.
Chucky's an enduro champion.
Chucky Sanders.
Yeah.
Was going quite well at the Dakar.
Yeah.
He'll be back. He was like 8 to 10 seconds quicker with traction control on an 8-minute course. And you wouldn't believe it until he said that. That's how much difference it is. So it takes deflection up a hill, over a rock, over a log. As soon as something goes wrong, most people shut the throttle down.
Yeah.
Then your momentum's gone.
Yeah.
So when you haven't got to shut the throttle down, you go forward.
Yeah.
Go fast.
Mate, looking forward to trying that out. It's getting more and more sophisticated, isn't it?
Well, it just makes the life simple for the rider.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to ride and more enjoyable. If you're going out and you're not making mistakes, you're not trying to drag it up a hill, you're not trying to fight the bike, you come back and you relax. It's a good day out.
Yeah.
I don't want to face a lion and a bear in the cage on a bad one.
Well, mate, thanks so much.
Thanks, David. You'll enjoy. I'm sure we will.
That's good. Well, that's it for the first episode of our Husky 501 build. I hope you've enjoyed what we've looked at today. In the next episode, we get in the dirt and on the road, and we do some comparisons with the Husky 701 that's sitting right beside the 501 in the garage. I mean, that to me is a cracking adventure bike. So what does the 501 have to offer that the 701 doesn't? Now, for those that haven't subscribed to the channel, please come and join us. There's over 150,000 subscribers and we'd like to see you come along, so just click the subscribe button. And for those that have subscribed, you're not very good at clicking the notification button, so press that notification button so you know what we're up to. And finally, for those that want to support the channel and give a bit back to what we're giving, please press the members button and have a look at what I've got to say about the benefits of Mad TV. Anyway, look forward to seeing you in the next episode. I think it's really important to be upfront with you in terms of where I'm getting the parts and what I'm paying. And I'll be frank with you, I'm not paying anything for the parts. These companies, I've approached them and they've provided the parts to me to make this build. But it's not that someone has just said, oh, here, have a free part. It doesn't work like that. I'm not interested in that. I have sought those manufacturers out, those suppliers out, because that's what I want on this bike to make this bike the best. So yes, I am being provided the parts free of charge, but they're parts that I've selected. And I think that's a very important difference. It's just not what people are pushing onto me. And there's no money changing hands in terms of what I put on this bike. This is my build and I can do as I want, and I'm free to do as I want.